That's a very Mancunian thing. You are who you are, and I've never really pretended to be anything else, really. I'm not very good at it. Manchester will always be my heartland and always be my home. And I think it's amazing at the moment. It looks like blooming Barcelona, the amount of glass and buildings and architecture. And I remember when I was in Coro driving to work, and another building would be constructed, it seemed overnight, probably because I wasn't watching where I was going. But it's a beautiful city, really, and I suppose going there and coming back, you see it more. Its development, it's a fantastic place. It's beautiful at the moment.
I know you mentioned Coronation Street there. That's where most people will know you from. Yeah. You're one of those people, it seems to me, that's proud to have been from it, opposed to trying to deny that you were never in it.
I don't understand why people do that. It's ridiculous. You know, at the time we were getting between 16 and 40 million viewers, so everybody knows I was in it. I was in it on every night. So, and I was dead proud of my part. It was a really well-written, brilliant character, and I had some of the best storylines ever. So, why shouldn't I be proud of it, really? I just had enough, and not of the character, really. I just wanted to do other things and stretch myself and see what else was out there, really. I wanted to do more theatre. I'd not done that for 5 years, and the awards and the dresses and the spangly bits never really affected me that much, so it wasn't really that much of a join when I left. In fact, it was a little bit more of a relief, because now only 50% of the people you go into a room know who you are, will have a bit of a stare, and that's fantastic. So your privacy does return in a way, because that bit of it I didn't like at all. Not that people were unkind, it was just very scary, and everybody knows your face and stuff. So that bit I didn't miss at all, to be honest. I do miss the regime of it, because it is quite regular, because when you're freelance you really don't know what's coming next, and you don't know whether you like it, and you have to make big decisions to turn this down, and then it's a big hit, or you don't turn it down, and then it's rubbish. So that's something that is difficult, but that's what I wanted, so I can't really moan.
And forgive me for staring, but you've got legs. I didn't realise you had those, because I only ever saw you from the top half and above.
Yeah, it was always that bit, wasn't it, from the bar? Yeah, it was good, that, really. So I used to wear all sorts of shoes behind the bar, because I was there all day, so yeah.
We'll talk about Coro in a bit, but I want to get back to something I was doing about 1:30 last night, flicking through the channels, and there you were on the Royal Family. I mean, people forget you've done so many different things, and you've always got the character parts, and I always think they're the best, because they're the most memorable.
Well, that was the Royal Family was my first telly programme ever, amazingly, and they weren't employing new characters then. It was a real coup for me. But the state of me that I looked, I was sort of 26, and I thought, I'd be getting all these young bird parts, and the first thing I had was this old tart from Wythenshawe with blood vessels broken on her face and dyed hair, and I remember just nearly in tears looking at myself. And since then I really have thrown myself into a part. Most hideous I look is probably the better, because it's funny or it's appropriate, or Shelley looked dreadful most of the time towards the end, and then she glammed up, and that was the quintessential Coronation Street barmaid, and then Scallywagger I looked a mess in, and that was great, and and my theatre roles I've looked exactly how I should, and I'm so not precious about that, because I don't think you can be, really, because you can always have your own look.
And going back to the Coronation Street days, I was up at Coro just before Christmas promoting that dreadful DVD they released. You were never part of anything like that, were you?
No, it was something I wouldn't be interested in. Not that it's, I do like those bubble things. I think they're quite funny. Because I remember Raquel, and when I was a kid, Raquel's one I really liked. That was when she was still in the show, wasn't it? But they never asked me to do one when I was in the show, and obviously I wouldn't do now. Not that I'm denying, like I said, I'm denying, but it's, I've moved on from there.
It always fascinates me, though, walking through those doors and seeing all those faces that you think you know, and of course you don't. How do you keep your bottle when you walk into the Royal Family and there he is, Ricky Tomlinson, sat in his chair?
Well, it was the same with, my first sort of jobs were Fat Friends, and which was massive at the time, and Alison Steadman was there at the read-through, and I had like 3 lines or something, and the Royal Family as well, which was just like a dream at the time. And I don't know, really, I was just over concerned about actually getting my lines right and getting the job done properly. But I remember Coronation Street was the biggest one, because you walk in and it's just like a northern Madame Tussauds, really, because these people are walking around having a cup of tea. And the thing about Coronation Street, which is I know it's a cliche and I know everyone says it, but they are really nice, and there's not many egos in them. When there are egos, they don't last long. It's really funny. They just sort of don't last there. They don't fit in properly, and I think because the veterans have been in it for so long, you know, it's just so dull for them. They just, you know, to have an ego, so they just don't, and they just get on with the job. So it was great for me, really, but it was very scary. Yeah, I remember one of the first lines I had with Barbara Knox, and all I had to do was go over and give her a drink and go give her it was so minimal, the language, compared to the stuff I had to do later. It was nothing, and I just couldn't get this line out, and I was in absolute awe, you know, because I thought, oh my God, that's Rita Fairclough. I'm still calling her Rita Fairclough. You know, and she just said, "Don't worry, darling, that happened to me with Doris Speed." So it was just brilliant, and I thought, oh God, you were young and you did it once, and now you're... So, you know, it really lovely. Great times, loved it.
And I don't know about you, there's a lot of filler in Coro these days, but I'll sit through 28 minutes to get to one great line by Norris.
Genius, Malcolm, genius, and he's just such a funny bloke, Malcolm. He's so dry and so grumpy, but obviously it's all comedy. And got on with it. I do miss Malcolm, actually. I miss them all, actually. That's the thing I do miss. I miss the makeup girls, and I miss the characters in it, not the Coronation Street characters, you know, but the actual people. I do miss them, I've got to say.
And congratulations on your performance. I'll tell you what it reminded me of, a bit of Victoria Wood. You've got that brilliant comic timing and the voice and the power and all of that, and I mean that with the greatest compliment.
Thank you. Oh, Victoria Wood is one of my heroes, and Julie Walters is the biggest hero ever. I don't know what I'd do if I met her, but yeah, and I think that's where my stable is, really, comedy, and I always believe in acting as if you can try and make people laugh and try and make people cry and or feel, really, and then which is why the looking pretty bit has never been that I've never been that bothered, really, although sometimes it helps.
You're like one of us. I mean, I know I'm never going to meet Angelina Jolie, and if I did, she'd walk straight past me. With you, I think I've got a chance. Not that I'm trying to be forward or anything.
Definitely, before I was getting married, love, you definitely would have had a chance. Absolutely. I think in a way it's been a funny old weird thing, this fame malarkey, because I have the same friends. I'm dead dull, but I celebrate this. I have the same friends I had from school, and the ones I've picked up on the way are very, very special, and there's only a couple, really, that I would, in the industry, that I would call very close friends. More than a couple, but, you know, most of my heartland is in Manchester, and I think that's probably why, because I'm so impressed with those people and my close friends, that it's never really affected me in that way.
Well, I don't know about you, but you really can't trust anybody in this business. No matter how happy they are for you, there's always that slight resentment that they're not doing it.
Do you know, it's funny that, and I've had this conversation with very best friends of mine, and I've never felt, I always feel absolutely fiercely proud of my friends. I mean, I keep banging on about it, but Saran in Unforgiven was brilliant, and you know, she was fantastic. There was no one else could have played that. Not even me. But you know, I couldn't, because she was hers. You know, and that's and I was so proud of her. And another great friend of mine, Phil Mealy, who writes Sunshine and Royal Family, and Sunshine was amazing. And there's something I find so brilliant about my friends, and I'm in awe of them. So you know, and then when I did Taste of Honey at the Royal Exchange, every single one of them came to the opening night, and you know, and then they celebrate. Oh, it was great. So you know, I don't believe in all that. I think it's bad karma, man.
But there aren't that many people who are as great as the people you've just mentioned, are there?
No, I know. I don't know why I have these mates. And honest to God, we've known each other for years. It's not like I've stood next to him in a bar, and you know, it's not or them or Pete or Justin or Jason or Alan or all the others. It's just people that I have gotten very close to over the years, and they just happen to be friends, and they just really successful, which is brilliant.
Congratulations on being you. I know you're in the Vagina Monologues for a while now. What's coming up next? Anything else we can talk about?
I did the Royal Exchange last year. We had a very successful run of Taste of Honey, and which I played. Now that was a bit deep. If you want a bit of deepness, you know, I like a bit of that now and again. No more Wallace and Gromit, because I'm dead in that.
Glad you reminded me of that, because I meant to talk to you about it. How does that feel on Christmas Day when you're the biggest star on the biggest programme that everybody's watching, everybody's talking about, and it's the #1 show of the year?
Mad, wasn't it? And it's really funny because we did it in the January, and they had to follow me around Eurobeat, because I'd already committed to Europe, you know. So they followed me around, and we did, because Nick's very intense, gorgeous bloke, and we very intense, but you know, it was 4-hour sessions in sound booths, very sound booths around the country, and I sort of didn't forget about it, but I sort of did, because it was done so long ago. It was, you know, I finished my bit in, I think the last bit was March of last year, so, you know, I forgot about it. And then all this interest came again, and then the BBC were really pushing it, and it was massive, and it's just amazing that a cartoon can get so much viewing figures and profit share. And it was funny because, like, the royal family was on after that, and we were like, look at them, hey, they're dancing on the streets and eating more that night, you know, because we live around the corner. But it was just a phenomenon, really. You forget, you know, it was only my little voice, it wasn't me, it was Nick, and I just provided the voice, really. But yeah, it was great, it was fab. Paola was great, I loved her.
I mean, I agree, it was only your little voice, but they had everybody in the world to choose from. He could have asked anybody, that's the point, isn't it?
It's weird, that, isn't it? I know, that's really weird. But he'd been thinking about it for ages, and I think he was liberated from not having to have a big, massive international... They didn't need anything attached to that, because it wasn't a movie, it was his, again, like The Wrong Trousers. And I think he was just searching, and I'm sure nobody would have turned it down, you know. God, I was like, I remember my agent ringing Hardman, I was like that. I went, because I don't know anything about it, I went, is that Count Duckula? She went, oh God, you stupid at times, Sally, no! Well, listen from me. I went, oh my God.
That's 20 years earlier.
Yeah, 20 years, Cosgrove Hall, that's what I was thinking of, you know.
Sally, congratulations on being you. You're such a big star, and good luck in the show, and in the future. Thanks for talking to me.
Thank you very much, Alex.